Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's presentation on this exciting 12-day adventure to Alaska with Princess Cruises and AAA. My name is Eric Stigberg. I'm the Managing Director of Marketing, Public, and Government Affairs for AAA Northway, and very excited to be your host from AAA on this particular trip. Little bit about myself. I've been with AAA for 26 years in a number of capacities. Enjoy travel very much. I've been fortunate to been able to travel extensively over the years. I've taken groups to Costa Rica. We've been to Iceland and a number of cruises. So very much looking forward to this Alaska trip. It's certainly on my bucket list, and I'm sure many of yours as well. So to get a little more detail, I'm going to turn the presentation over now to Kate from Princess Cruises, who will walk us through this exciting trip. Kate, it's all yours.
Oh, thanks so much, Eric. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to us talk about Alaska. My name's Kate Caridio. I am the local New York sales rep for Princess Cruises, and so happy to be here working with AAA. Alaska is probably my favorite destination. It is just a breathtaking, beautiful place to visit. In talking about it, though, I want you to be aware that AAA Travel is one of the highest producing agencies of Alaska for Princess Cruises. So they book more Alaska travel with us than most any other travel agency in the country. And what does that mean for you? That means that they get special perks and amenities that they give back to their clients that makes your trip that much richer and that much more exciting for you. AAA Northway is a great organization, and we are so happy to partner with them for this exclusive cruise tour. And here are some of the folks on your AAA Northway team in your local cities and towns. And we're going to dive into a little bit more of Alaska. So Princess Cruise Line has been named the #1 cruise line in Alaska multiple times, but 19 times in a row by Travel Weekly. Now, Travel Weekly is an agency or travel agency or travel industry, publication. And these awards or accolades, are given by travel advisors. And that's a big thing because we want the people that are selling us and sending their clients to Alaska recommending Princess Cruises. I'm going to show a quick little video. I like to show that video just to kind of give you a good feel of Alaska. A lot of times you see pictures and videos of things. I want you to know that that's really, really what it looks like. And there's so much to see and so much to do. Well, we'll do a little history lesson first. What do we know about Alaska? Alaska is the 49th state. Now, it was known way back when the United States purchased it as Seward's Folly. Seward was the Secretary of State in the just post-Lincoln era, and he purchased Alaska. And of course, just like any other time in history, Congress and the House of Representatives are arguing, was it worth it? And they said Seward's folly because Alaska was worthless land and we should have paid $0 for it. So of course, we know now how actually so very valuable the state of Alaska is. It is 60,000 square miles or 365 million acres. There's 5,000 glaciers, 3,000 rivers, and 3 million lakes. It is 2 times the size of Texas, and it's home to North America's highest point, Denali Mountain, and its deepest water, the Aleutian Trench. It is known as the land of the midnight sun. And what that means is during June and July, up in Fairbanks, which you are going to go to, the sun can be out or is out over 22 hours. So it can be 3 in the morning and it looks like 5, 6 o'clock the same time here, what we experience in the summer. There's just nothing like the state. And I like to show, let's put New York State in there. So it's 12 times the size of New York State. And our state's pretty big, but you would need 12 of New York states to fill the state of Alaska. That line there shows the Canada is on the right-hand side and Alaska on the left. And again, we love Alaska. Princess Cruises, we have at least 6 ships a season going into the state, but we also own our own wilderness lodges. We have 5 of them situated throughout the state that have been built. They are run and operated by Princess Cruises. No one else can say that. And how you visit Alaska, you can do a round trip inside passage cruise, which really just kind of keeps you on the coast of Canada. See more of Alaska doing Voyage of the Glaciers, which is what you guys are doing if you follow Eric on this tour, which is one-way cruises. And then the best way to see Alaska is adding the cruise tour. So that's cruise, train, and lodge. And why do people go to Alaska? They want to see glaciers, scenery, mountains, and wildlife. And Princess Cruises and our cruise tours are designed to showcase all the best of Alaska, to get you into places to see what you want to see. And again, why Princess in Alaska? We have more than 55 years sailing the Great Land. Actually, we're going to hit 60 years in 2025 that we've been sailing into Alaska. And we have top-rated cruises and in-depth cruise tours that get you deep into the state. We also have a great partnership with the Discovery Network, which kind of gives us inroads and different perks in some of the destinations on land and on sea. And we always, this is a Princess Cruises trademark, is we always bring the destination on board the cruise. We do it with food, with drink, with entertainment. It's just makes you realize where you're sailing without even looking out the window. One of our favorite things and most popular is our puppies in the piazza. These are actually sled dog puppies. They're being trained to run the Iditarod that we bring on board the ship, and people can interact with them right down in our atrium area. It's very, very popular. And of course, who doesn't love puppies? Everyone loves puppies. And then this is your tour, and I'll show you it again. But as we go through this, I just want you to realize this is our AAA Northway hosted tour with Eric. It is the 12-day Denali Explorer kicking off on June 3rd. And we would start with the land first. And what they've chosen for you is absolutely perfect. You get a night in Fairbanks, 2 nights in Denali, and 2 nights at the McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. We have the direct to the Wilderness Rail Service, and then a 7-day cruise. And again, remember what I said, AAA, one of the biggest producers of Alaska for Princess Cruises. So they get special perks and amenities that they pass on to you. And right here on the flyer, it's showing you that they're giving 5 meals on the land tour. Now, food is not usually included on the land. We always know it is on the cruise portion. But with AAA, you're getting those meals added on. So it's a great perk. And here is a day-to-day itinerary for you on the land and the cruise, and we can get you this information. Here's a map of Alaska. I always like to show this, but it just shows you where our lodges are situated and the cruise portion. So up top, you see there's Fairbanks, then we have Denali, and then again, Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. You would board the ship in Whittier, sail down, and then end up in Vancouver. If you notice, the cruise ports keep you on the coast of Canada. So really, to get the best experience in Alaska, you want to add that land portion on so you can see as much as you possibly can. And what is an Alaska cruise tour? It is the 7-day cruise along with the rail, along again with the Princess Wilderness Lodges. And we have our direct to the wilderness rail service where the train is actually across the street from the ship when we board the train or disembark the train in Whittier. In your case, you would be doing the land first, and then the train pulls up right to the pier and you cross the street and board the ship. Makes it very convenient. And this is just a good shot of the train cars themselves. The upper area is where you would sit. And then we have open air platforms on the bottom. They're glass domed rail cars with the outdoor viewing platforms. So really cute, cool areas. And you have such great views of the scenery. Very comfortable. And then the downstairs portion of the train is actually a full restaurant. It's our dining cars. And you can have breakfast or lunch in here. And it's just, again, relaxing, but great scenery to see outside. And look at that. It's spectacular. And that's your view on the train. There's so much to see as you're traveling through the state itself. And if you're not on the train, it would be the motor coaches, our Princess motor coaches, which again, very comfortable, very great scenic views, and a relaxing way to travel. So again, the lodge locations, and then we're going to hit Fairbanks. So that would be our first stop, would be Fairbanks. It is the city with the widest temperature spread of any city on Earth. It can be negative 66 degrees, not ever when we're there, and it can go to plus 99 degrees. So kind of a very interesting place. You can see there is Panning for Gold. We've got, that's the lodge. We have the Discovery Riverboat, where it's a family-operated riverboat, and it takes you up and down the river. This is included. You would stop and visit an Alaskan village. So very cool area to be. After Fairbanks, you would go to the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. This is a beautiful, beautiful lodge situated a mile from the entrance to Denali National Park. The lodge overlooks the Nianu River, has about 660 rooms, and just a very well spread out location. There's hot tubs, restaurants, Denali Dinner Theater. You can actually leave a wake-up call more towards the fall. So figure August, September for Aurora Borealis, if it's visible. You can leave a wake-up call. That happened to me once in late August, where the northern lights were visible, and they woke you up about 3 in the morning to come out and see them. But again, here's just some shots of Fanny Q's Saloon, the indoor part of the lodge, people outside, and the riverbank. Okay, just good shots. I like to show pictures of things so you know it. One of my favorite things is King Salmon Restaurant, but I want you to notice here the amount of the flowers. Because the sun remains out so long during those months, the vegetation, plants, everything grows so much more quicker. It's not very humid in Alaska. It does get some rain, but this enables plants and everything to really grow. So anywhere they can plant something in Alaska, they do. So this is just an entrance to the King Salmon restaurant at Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. One of the things you would do at Denali National Park, and again, included with your AAA cruise tour, is the tour of Denali National Park itself. The park is 6 million acres. Right now there's 2 tours, the natural history or the tundra. The natural history is about 5 hours into the park, and then the tundra wilderness is about 8 hours into the park. The natural history is included again with your tour. And this is just kind of gives you a shot of the park itself. Again, the Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge is at the north end of the park, about a mile into the or from the entrance. And then just so you know, the Mount McKinley Princess Lodge, which would be the next stop, is at the south end of the park. So it just kind of gives you a good view of the park itself. And the big thing in the park is the big five, what everyone calls them, and trying to see all of these animals when you're in the park. You have moose, bear, caribou, wolves is a big thing now. It used to not be as prevalent, but they have made a very big comeback. And then the Dall sheep. And I have to say, every time I've been, I've seen all of these animals. I've been lucky. Well, knock on wood, that you all do as well. And there's the park road map, and kind of just gives you where you stop, mile 30 for the natural history tour, and then you have the tundra tour, and there you go on. And again, here's just a shot of the buses stopping. We actually use, or the park itself uses, school buses. The United States National Park Service will not allow motor coaches into the park. They're trying to protect the road. There's one road in, one road out. It's a 90-mile road. And this is a shot, I like this too, because this is a common occurrence. The bears or the wildlife just feel like we're part of the scenery, part of the landscape of Denali National Park. We're so very careful not to leave any foods or garbage behind, because we don't want them to think of us as food or entertainment. So it's just kind of, we're part of it. We're part of their world. And that's a good way to be. This is the visitor center, again, inside the park. And you can do once you do the tour, you can go into the visitor center. They've got a lot of information about the park itself. As I mentioned, I think there's suspension bridges if you wanted to walk on your own. There's dog sledding demonstrations. You can take a little bus or a transfer van up into the park and see that. So there's a lot to do there, a lot to do in Denali. And again, you've got absolutely beautiful scenery. Next stop, Mount McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge. The big thing about this is she is 41 miles from the mountain. Now, Denali Mountain. It used to be called Mount McKinley. That's why the lodge is named that. But the people in Alaska always called it Denali, or the Great One. So before President Obama left office, he allowed them to change the name back to what it always was, Denali Mountain, or the Big One. So again, you're at the south end of Denali National Park, about 146 acres within the park. The mountain itself is 20,000 feet high. And again, just some shots of it. One of the big things there is, again, through the Discovery Network, we had, there's a show called Treehouse Masters, and they actually built a treehouse at McKinley Wilderness Lodge for us. And they do maple syrup tasting and cocktails and entertainment in the evening. So a great view to see it, especially if the mountain is visible. And that's why people come. It's all about the view. Now, I mentioned the wake-up call for Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights. At McKinley Princess Lodge, they'll actually leave a wake-up call for the mountain, because sometimes it's not visible. So again, remember, the sun is out for long periods of time. You can leave a wake-up call if it becomes visible during the evening hours. And then here's what I mentioned with Whittier. This is where the train will bring you to the ship in Whittier. You are checked in for the cruise right on board the train. You cross the street and you board your Princess Cruise and start that part of your journey. So it's a seamless experience. And again, we've got Eric the whole way with us, helping out. And there's just a shot of the train leaving the ship, going on its journey, and then the cruise will be about to set sail. And again, here's our map. So we leave Whittier, go into Prince William Sound and College Fjord. Prince William Sound, known for its tremendous amount of wildlife, migratory birds. College Fjord has 16 tidewater glaciers itself. And then you, as I said, you're sailing along. We bring Alaska on board. That's our North to Alaska promise. And again, as we've mentioned, we do the lumberjack shows. We've got the puppies in the piazza. We have Alaskan food. And we have one of our favorite things is Libby Riddles. You'll see in the bottom right-hand corner. She was the first woman to win the Iditarod. So she comes on board with her sled dogs and does a presentation about, running that race and what it entails. And here are some of the ports of call, or all of the ports of call, that you actually would stop off and disembark the ship. But we'll show you some of them here. But the big one, and you don't disembark here, but is Glacier Bay National Park. Glacier Bay is the premier spot for glacier viewing. It's over 3 million acres. It ranges from the St. Elias Mountains and Fairweather Mountain Range to the end of the fjords. Access is extremely limited into Glacier Bay National Park. They only let 1 or 2 ships in per day. I'm happy to say, again, because of the number of years we've been in Alaska, Princess Cruises has park permits for every one of our Voyage of the Glacier cruises, which again is what you're on. So we are able to access this beautiful, beautiful destination. Again, you don't disembark, but we have a park ranger that comes on board the ship and does talks throughout the day, explaining what you're seeing. It is home to humpback whales, sea otters, porpoises, and harbor seals. It is just a beautiful, breathtaking place. It's quiet when you're in there. It's peaceful, and you can hear the glacier calving, and that's when the ice falls off of the glacier and hits the water. It's just spectacular. Really, words can't describe it. We always try, but pictures do it more justice, and you will see that when you travel here. As I mentioned, we have park rangers on board during Glacier Bay, but we have naturalists on board for the entire cruise because there is so much to see. Now, the first port of call that you hit is Skagway. One of my favorite is known as the gateway to the Klondike. It has the same feel as it did from the Gold Rush days. The town is preserved as a National Historic Park with the rustic boardwalk and frontier-style storefronts. So it's a pretty cool feeling in the town. It feels just like it was during the Gold Rush era. One of the more popular things to do there is the White Pass Rail. This is a historic railroad. It is one of the oldest, narrowest railroads in the world, and it follows the path that those took in search of gold. Now, this was the last town they hit before they went off in search of gold, hoping to strike it rich. This is the view right outside of Skagway. And this is just a shot I took. People make fun of me for this, but I took this shot because as you're walking in town, there's rivers and streams, and these are the salmon swimming upstream to lay their eggs. But it's that prevalent that you see that all over. So kind of, again, pretty cool just to look around and you see this stuff often. The next stop would be Juneau. Now, Juneau is actually the state capital of Alaska, but the only way to get into Juneau is by air or sea. It is the only state capital that is landlocked. Now, they take votes every few years in Alaska to see if they want to change that, to move it to one of the big cities, Fairbanks or Anchorage, but the people in Alaska always give a resounding no. They like it the way it is. Maybe they don't want a lot of outside government officials coming in. The big thing here, again, is glaciers. We have Mount Roberts Tramway, which is about 1,800 feet above the city that you can view. But people love doing Mendenhall Glacier. It's 13 miles long. It's a lot of scenery up there. You do hiking trails. You can land on it. It's just a really spectacular. And if you can see in this picture, you can see the blue from the glacier itself. One of the other popular things in town is Tracy's King Crab Shop. That starts to get a line about noon. And this is the big bucket of crabs. I'm not a big fish person, but people absolutely love it. And I know most people are into it. And then the next stop would be Ketchikan. Now, Ketchikan is known as the cities on stilts. It is also called the first city, and it is the salmon capital of the world. It's the southernmost Alaskan port city. So very popular. It's a very cool area to walk around. Again, do whale watching there. One of the big things is fishing. You go out on these early morning fishing treks. I think it's like 5:30. This is actually a picture of my child when he was about 14. And one of the neat things they do here is you go on these fishing excursions, and you can send the fish you catch home for the low price of, what is it, $89.99 probably, or Princess Cruises offers Cook My Catch. And what Cook My Catch is my son Tommy was able to bring that fish back to the ship. He didn't have to carry it. The captain of the ship he's on, or the boat he was on, sent it back to the ship, and they prepare it for him in the dining room. It is such an amazing experience. There's our scary fish that my son caught. There's no additional charge for it. But it's just a neat thing. And if the fish is big enough, which his was when he was younger, you feed not only your table, but the tables around you. So it makes nice bragging rights. People enjoy it. He swore that was the fish because it still had the hook in the eye. Again, I am not a big fish person, but it was one of the highlights of his cruise. People always ask about the weather in Alaska, and best opportunity to see some of the wildlife. And this is just kind of a chart. You can notice the wide range of temperatures. It can start in the 50s and end up in the 80s in the same day. May and June, you have great shots of seeing the bears. They're coming out of hibernation, but they are around all season. Fishing is more prevalent again, June and July, but around all season. The sun stays out longest June and July, and the best whale viewing, again, all season. And there you go. Less rain in May and June. It happens more in the peak of the summer. And then you have that fall leaf there. Fall comes very quickly in Alaska. You almost wake up one day and it's fall. So that's why that's kind of in between August and September. This is a shot of my husband and friends and family on a cruise in Alaska in August, and just wanting to show you that people are actually, yes, outside in bathing suits, relaxing and swimming in Alaska. So it just depends on the day and the weather. And again, we've mentioned Discovery at Sea, panning for gold, the dog sleds. You can do whitewater rafting and different tours that they offer, whale watching cruises. There's just so much to see. And there's another shot of Cook My Catch, people fishing, and then our naturalists on board the ship interacting with our passengers, and again, Libby Riddles. And our park ranger in Glacier Bay, and everyone's favorite, our puppies in the piazza. There's another shot. And then at the end of your journey, after you finish Ketchikan, you cruise the Inside Passage down into Vancouver, again, with abundance of wildlife and different things you can see. So this will show you again our Alaska hosted tour that's being offered with AAA Northway with Eric as our host. Here's some shots of the ship itself, our atrium area, our piazza, hot tubs, our sanctuary up on top. Just different shots I wanted to show you, and all of the different food options on board the ship. And entertainment in the evening. But that's almost secondary to the destination in this case. It's just spectacular because the scenery, these are dolphins. The scenery is breathtaking. And you have otters and seals, and the highest concentration of puffins in North America. and of course, whales, because that's what we all hear about and that's what we all want to see. And you will see them. Here's a last shot of our map. Keep in mind how vast the state is, and you want to be able to see as much as you possibly can. Princess Cruises, we love Alaska. We love AAA Northway. I hope I've given you a lot of good information. And there we go with Eric.
All right, so I think we'll end there. We'll have her cut off a little bit at the end and cut off in the beginning. Danielle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
All right,
good.
Kate, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how we market this and so forth.
Okay, but it went okay? You heard me and everything?
I did, Kate.
was
The pictures
great.
were great. You did an
Yeah.
awesome job. I like the pictures personally, too.
Oh, yeah, I always try to throw some in, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Who knows if my family likes it. All right, thanks you guys so much. I hope my phone started ringing at the end, so hopefully.
No, I didn't hear it, Kate.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much,
it.
you guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.